Today on Here for the Right Reasons, Bachelor breakups. Kody, Thurston, and John Hersey call it quits as Michelle and Nayte part ways. And Tia Booth is expecting. The Bachelor Nation star reveals she has a baby on the way and told us about her wedding plans.
Still don't have it like set in stone, but once I have that, then I'll have a date and then I can choose vendors and then it'll really get rolling.
And Becca Kufrin reveals Thomas Jacobs' engagement details and if she still has the ring from Garrett.
For my season is somewhere in the house. I haven't looked at it in over a year, but I still have it. It's around. I don't know what to do with it. Probably sage it.
Plus, Zach Clark defends Tayshia Adams from social media trolls. We got that plus so much more on today's Here for the Right Reasons. Hey guys, Christina Garibaldi here with Us Weekly senior editor Sarah Heron, and we have so much Bachelor news to get to this week, Sarah. Oh my God.
I mean, our last two Bachelorettes have called it quits with their respective partners. It's not a shock, but also a shock at the same time.
Totally. Yes, definitely. I mean, let's get right into it and kick it off with Kody and John. I mean, this one surprised me more than Michelle and Nayte, but she announced the news on Instagram, simply writing, statement, we aren't together. Awkward. John later shed a little bit more light into the breakup, writing on Instagram, I love being able to share special moments with you all, the funny ones, the happy ones, the outrageous, embarrassing, and heartfelt ones, but I don't know if it will ever get any easier to share the sad ones. As Kody stated earlier, we are no longer dating. This decision was not made lightly, and it was obviously not an easy one to make. He added, I appreciate every one of you that has supported us throughout this journey. We could not and would not be here without you. Oof. Yeah, I mean, very surprising. I mean, I went back to look and she really hasn't posted about him since the end of April, maybe on her stories a little bit, but I don't know. I don't know. They've recently moved in together too. So this is really surprising.
Yeah, I believe she actually just completed a 1-month social media cleanse.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Which now makes sense as to why she was doing so. And it's a way to, not have people reading into what you're doing on the internet, which kind of implies that the two of them maybe were having issues for the last month or so because she knows Kody. Listen, people can say what they want about Kody. I know she's not the most beloved Bachelorette on the planet, right? Mm-hmm. But she's smart and she's very in on the joke. And I think that that's why her statement was, quote, statement, we aren't together, because she's the first one to maybe poke fun at a breakup statement. She, her and Blac did that, but I feel like she then did her 12 days of messy and kind of stirred the pot. She knows what she's doing. Mm-hmm. And that breakup statement was kind of to get ahead of it, maybe oh, we're going to have this mutual whatever. No, it's BS. We're not together anymore. The problem was it kind of just created confusion when she initially posted it and people didn't know if it was a joke or what. And yeah, I feel bad for her because they did move in together. And I feel like these two really went all in on their relationship. And obviously I wasn't there. I don't know if they really were just feeling they were head over heels or if they felt like they had to kind of prove it. Mm-hmm. She not that long ago did an Instagram Q&A. This was maybe March or April. And someone was like, is he the one? And she wrote, yes. They were getting questions like that. And they probably felt some sort of responsibility or obligation or whatever to convince us that this was worth it because they hurt Blac in return. And it became this messy thing of why didn't you just pick him to begin with? Then you dragged Greg and then Blac. She kind of got a bad rap. So then I feel like she maybe overcompensated in this relationship. Maybe I'm reading into it too much.
No,
maybe they just had a big fight. I don't know, but that's how I feel like what happened.
I agree with you. I feel like a lot of people were kind of taken back when she announced that they were together during that 12 days of messiness. And a lot of people were like, wait, didn't you just break up with Blac and now you're with somebody else? A lot of people maybe thought that she was cheating on him or at least emotionally cheating on Blac with John. So maybe, yeah, like you said, she kind of felt like she had an obligation to kind of see this through and, kind of prove people wrong and being like, no, we really, really did love each other. We stayed together. But I mean, they were serious. They moved in together. So clearly they both saw this as a future relationship and something went wrong.
Right. And they quote unquote ruined the friendship. Who knows? I'm sure that maybe they'll still be friends. But that's kind of the risk you take when you start dating your quote unquote best friend. Mm-hmm. I also think that Kody went through a lot in the last year, from the Matt James to everything that happened with Chris Harrison while her season was kind of in the formation, to then becoming the lead, to the Greg breakup, to Blac joining her season. She went through so much, and John kind of seemed to be the constant maybe for at least the second half of last year. Mm-hmm. So leaned into that. and thought that, okay, I went through all of that other shitty stuff or bad stuff because he was like the purpose. And I feel like then they again put so much weight on it, and they probably moved in together and realized that like, we did this too fast. Maybe we aren't so in love as we think we are. I don't know. Or maybe she still feels that way, and he kind of pulled the plug since she did like a very like abrupt statement. Mm-hmm. And she also, I mean, doing a social media cleanse is great, but you can tell that she's someone who lets social media get to her as much as she says she doesn't, because she felt the need to even put this statement out so quickly. Like, she returned a couple of days ago and already was like, statement, it's over. Like, right. I feel like there's a lot of layers to her actions here. She fascinates me for some reason. I don't know why.
She fascinates me as well. All right. Well, speaking of breakups, let's talk about Michelle and Nayte, because they called off their engagement. She wrote on Instagram, "To those who have supported Nayte and I, including Bachelor Nation, I know I speak for the both of us when saying having a relationship in the public eye has not been easy. I'm struggling to say that Nayte and I will be going our separate ways, but I stand with him in knowing the heaviness that is present in both our hearts, as this relationship has been very real for us. To you, Nayte, you quickly became my best friend, and the love I have for you is incredibly strong. I will never stop wanting to see you succeed." She continued saying, "I will always acknowledge and appreciate the adventure, support, and growth both Nayte and this experience have brought me. And at the same time, I'm deeply hurting and will need time and space to work through this breakup, or this heartbreak, excuse me." Of course, he proposed during the December 2021 finale, and he wrote, "Hearts are heavy, emotions are high, and we are dealing with this the best we can." Surprised by this one?
A little bit. You know that neither of us were really into Team Nayte during the season, but then after I interviewed them, I told you, I was like, I am all in on these two. She just clapped back at breakup rumors a couple of weeks ago when she was spotted like messing with her ring, or her friend trying on her ring, which is tough. And this kind of reads to me like they just like weren't actually moving forward with their relationship. Mm-hmm. Like, he was supposed to move to Minnesota. I haven't seen that. Yeah. And the pressure of maybe feeling like, okay, we're supposed to be an engaged couple and we haven't made any progress since we left that stage in December is kind of what it reads like to me.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I just think that they were, he really wasn't spending that much time in Minnesota. He had his own life somewhere else. And maybe he just didn't want to make the move there either. Like, they seem to be on two different paths. She's now, she's not teaching anymore. So maybe she's just going to be concentrating on the podcast. But yeah, no, interesting that they're another quick breakup. I mean, they really haven't been together all that long.
No, I mean, they probably finished filming in October of last year, and then it aired in December. I also think that, she's been missing in the last couple episodes of Bachelor Happy Hour. You'll hear from Becca in a little bit. During that junket I did. Michelle was not there, even though she was supposed to be. So I would imagine she's definitely going through it. And we know she just left her job teaching. She was very emotional on that episode. So I feel like there's a lot of changes happening for her, and not maybe what she expected. Again, it's just like a wild year where you kind of get thrusted into this. And I don't know, I feel like we'll get to know a little bit more about Nayte. Like, will Nayte pursue a paradise? Will Nayte, I feel like whatever his next move is, people were not necessarily rooting for him, which is bad to say. Yes. People loved those two together. I feel like some people did, but a lot of people weren't into her picking him. So I'm really intrigued to see what's going to happen with these two.
You made up a good point when we were talking yesterday about what happens to that money.
What happens to that money, that down payment for a house, a couple $1,000, a couple $100,000. What is going on with this? Like, I mean, I'm trying to find out.
I wonder if like the ABC wasn't going to give them the money until they decided to buy the house.
Right, so maybe it was a figurative check. And then it was like, let us know what you actually buy and we'll give you a percentage of that, or we'll actually give you the money.
Right. I wonder. And then what happens to the ring?
Well, we'll get a little insight on the rings. The rings usually go back. I mean, it hasn't been very long, but she didn't make it the 2 years. So I assume at some point, Neil Lane and squad will collect. As we know, Claire Crowley waited quite some time to deliver her ring back. Yes. But they all do it a little differently, which is fascinating to me.
Added to the graveyard, right?
Added to the graveyard. Well, someone who's having at least a little bit better of a good time. This message is, has ups and downs in it, but overall very happy. Tia Booth announced that she is pregnant with her first child. We're honoring her late dad on Father's Day. She wrote on Instagram, "This has undoubtedly been the most challenging season thus far. I've never felt such overwhelming sadness and pure joy at the same time. It's been difficult to be grateful for the good, as if one of the most important people in my life is missing the celebration. While I wish I could tell my dad all the good news in person, it brings me peace that he knows it long before I do. Welcoming a new little life while mourning the loss of another proves that high emotions can exist simultaneously. And I have no doubt that my dad had a hand in this. Happy Heavenly Father's Day to the first man I ever loved, and happy soon to be Father's Day to my forever. Tia and her fiance got engaged in April, 2 months after her dad passed away. And good. It's exciting, but also that was a sad message.
So sad. I know. So happy for her. You know, they, like you said, they only got engaged a couple months ago. Remember, we were talking about their engagement.
Oh, right.
Now I feel bad.
Horrible
people on the Bachelor. What's it called? The Bachelor Live.
Bachelor Live on Stage.
Yeah, Bachelor Live on Stage. But yeah, so they look so happy together, and you know, she's expecting her first child. So that's really great. And I know that you recently caught up with her as well, right?
Yes. And I think this is like a classic case of a lot of times people go on these shows, or maybe like several times, and as they get older and their last time, they then fast track the next relationship they're in, not in like a judgmental way, but in a just like, okay, I got that out of my system. I know what I want. And their next partner a lot of time does tend to be the one for them. And Tia is engaged and pregnant. And I recently caught up with her and asked her about wedding plans.
Tia, I saw that you were asking fans to help you pick a wedding location. How is wedding planning going?
We haven't had to do much so far, which is nice. I'm not really in the thick of it yet. Still don't have a venue. Still don't have it like set in stone. But once I have that, then I'll have a date, and then I can choose vendors, and then it'll really get rolling. So fingers crossed it all works out.
Nice. Joe, any wedding planning update on your end? I've asked you a few times in the last year.
Yeah, I feel like you and I are always in a room with each other interviewing. All right, September next year.
Really?
That's what we're planning on.
September 2020.
That's a big development.
23.
Is it? I feel okay. Nice.
Congratulations. October and November, so I'll be right after you.
And
yours is October?
Me?
Huh?
Yeah, Tia.
I'm hoping for late October, early November. Yeah.
The best is Serena's gonna listen to this and be like, "Why do you keep saying September?" I was like,
it's near the end of the year. Clickbait, Joe.
It's near the end of the year.
Yeah, so wedding plans are in the works. I love that Joe kind of sprinkled in the details that he's getting married next September, which may be news to Serena, but Joe always there for a good time.
Yeah, Joe's a good interview because he's fun, but sometimes he does feel like he's trolling you in the moment, even though his whole brand on clickbait is to stop the clickbait. So that's a little insight into interviewing Joe and Tia and Natasha.
I love that so much. I love it. Well, we also had some news on Zach Clark, right?
Yeah, Zach Clark, I feel like we keep talking about Zach and Tayshia, like we're just manifesting, trying to find out what's happening there. He clapped back at a social media troll who slammed Tayshia over her recent bikini photos. While many comments were positive, one user's negative remarks prompted Zach to defend his ex-fiance. The troll wrote, "I think you need to get over yourself. Remember when you dated Zach and you didn't constantly post selfies and boobs and bikinis of yourself? Yeah, get back to that, honey, because nobody cares at how fancy you think you are. You're still a girl from a reality show with a guy who cheated on you." Okay, I didn't even hear that part.
That's talking about her ex-husband, right?
I would assume so. Because,
right,
yeah. Well, Zach didn't like that, which fair, because what a comment. He wrote, "Enough is enough. One of the problems with social media is it gives people like you a voice and unwarranted power. The truth is, we see this shit. I see this shit. It's hard to avoid. And it's just not nice, especially when you have no idea what you're talking about and you just make shit up. I struggle to see why you would be mean for no reason. Being kind is so much easier, I promise. So at Tayshia, F the noise and keep doing your thing. Wear the clothes you want to wear, take the videos you want to take, and keep shining. I know you, and I know you are a really good person."
I love that. I did go back and try to find the comment. I don't know. Maybe somebody else in the comments can say if I'm wrong or not, but I couldn't find it.
Really?
They deleted it. Yeah.
They probably deleted it. I think I saw it I took a screenshot in the moment with his response. And cause when you see those screenshots, like on the Bachelor fan accounts, I always try to go and like find it myself because you never know. And this one I did find, and I think I did find the comment but I don't know if I screenshot it.
Maybe I just wasn't looking hard enough, but it is nice that he defended her. I mean, this is the first time we've actually like seen them like interacting on social media. I think that they liked some photos of one another in the past, but this is like the first real time that like he's actually spoken out and defended her. And still, I want to know. Tell us.
I know. I mean, it definitely proves that they're on good terms because for him to, call it his first clap back, like he doesn't really engage in stuff like this or do much like Bachelor related, to be honest. And Tayshia is very like open on social and posts a lot. And that's like her brand. And that's been part of the thing. It's like, oh, did they break up because she's so public? Mm-hmm. And this shows that he, either way, even if that's what happened, like is supporting her. And I mean, please, like, I think her Bachelor promo was her coming out of the water in a bathing suit. Like she was Denise Richards on Wild Things. Like, let's relax here. Like a Bond girl. Like she can post, and she's got a great body. And even if she, like, who cares? Like, let Tayshia post what she wants to post.
Seriously. But do we think that like maybe she's hinting at a well, no, I don't think she'll ever actually return to Bachelor franchise, but I was going to say maybe a Paradise return, but I don't think so.
No, I could see her doing another reality show in some sense, but I feel like she's kind of like not burning the bridge with ABC, but like on purpose, kind of like lighting a little fire there. Like I could, maybe she'll show up on like X on the Beach or something because she's a big MTV girl.
Maybe we'll have to wait and see. All right, well, let's get into our Bachelor talk. And I know you recently caught up with Becca Kufrin, who talked all about her engagement to Thomas. And you asked the question, where is that ring from Garrett? I absolutely love this. So take a look.
What has been the biggest thing that you've learned about Thomas in the past year, and what makes this relationship different?
Oh my gosh, I keep learning stuff about him. I mean, like any relationship, I would hope to learn something new about my partner and just keep falling more and more in love. But Thomas always keeps me on my toes. He is truly the most adventurous, fun, easygoing man. But what I think makes this relationship different with him is that he's really the one person who our values and our morals align. And so we've, yes, we're engaged and we've talked about what our marriage will look like and what a future with kids will look like and how we want our family dynamic to be. But he's the first guy who's really been on the same page with me of how we want to raise our kids, what morals and values do we want to instill in them. And I feel like not only between the two of us, but with our families, it's that same way too, which is really special. And so we have such a great support system behind us. But yeah, he's the first guy that I'm like, we're on the same page. Like, of course, that's not to say we'll have different discussions of differences, but I mean, yeah, I just love him so much. He's the first guy too that I'm like, I actually want to spend my entire life with you. I want to start planning the wedding. I want to do all of the things where in the past I'm like, I don't know if it's necessarily for me, but we'll see.
I love that. You obviously had an unconventional, as we're calling it, proposal. You proposed. Mm-hmm. Are we going to see unconventional stuff at the wedding, and perhaps maybe an unconventional ring when I know he has probably something up his sleeve as he's teased?
I mean, yeah, I'm not one to shy away from tradition and switch up the quote unquote norms in society, but we'll definitely probably have a little bit of a different wedding. We know we just want it to be fun because so many people will be coming in from out of state. So we probably will just have a ton of food trucks and a ton of games and make it a big party atmosphere. We won't have the traditional seated plated dinner with the speeches and all of that. I don't know if I'll throw a bouquet. We probably won't do a garter toss. Like we want to just switch it up and do things that feel right and special for us, but that will also be meaningful and just offer the best time for our guests as well.
You've joked about your Neil Lane ring graveyard before. Is that true that they have to give the ring back? Where are your rings, Becca?
Okay, well, I didn't joke about my kneeling ring graveyard. The show has one from all of the failed engagements. But I mean, after the first engagement, when Ari broke up with me, I gave it back to him right there on television. So I don't know what the show got that one back. Yeah, and then mine from my season is somewhere in the house. I haven't looked at it in over a year, but I still have it. It's around. I don't know what to do with it. Probably sage it, but yeah.
I have to ask what I have to ask.
I know. I love that. I think it's great. I mean, she still has it. And when I talked to Caitlin, she still has her ring from Sean too. So it seems like they still hang on to them.
It's kind of like if you make it past that 2-year mark, it's like a rite of passage. You should get to keep it. What's Neil Lane or The Bachelor going to do with it anyway? And listen, Becca, I had never had a chance. I only interviewed her once on the phone back when she was with Garrett, like after her season aired. So it was the first time I had any like little bit of time or FaceTime with her. And she is like one of those people, kind of like Caitlin Bristow, where they're just like very smiley. Even when you're asking them questions they might not be like thrilled with, they answer and they kind of get what they're doing as bachelorettes. They know what they signed up for. And I'm really happy for her and Thomas, and I'm shocked by it, but like, what do I know? And I'm really happy for them.
I'm really happy for them too. I can't wait to see what unconventional things they do at their wedding as well.
Agreed.
So definitely can't wait for that. All right, let's check in on which Bachelor Nation caught our attention on social media. Mine went to Raven because she posted some really adorable photos of Adam celebrating his first Father's Day. They are just like the cutest little family. So good for them. They seem really happy, and another paradise couple that made it work.
I love those two.
Yeah, I do too. They're really cute.
Well,
That baby is adorable.
So freaking cute. And Gates, like how cute to name after her maiden name. My Bachelor social spotlight is another VIP couple that I certainly didn't see stand here.
Right.
3 years for Dean and Galen. In what world are we living in? He wrote, 3 years doesn't seem like much when you've got forever left to go. And Dean put together this video of Galen in the ocean and some of their adventures. And you know what? It's always nice to see a little soft side of Dean, because he's often making headlines for comments like, I'll give her a ring when she gives me a truck. Something he said just last week. So you know what? Like, whatever their relationship is that might not make sense to the outside world, it seemingly works for them. And it's nice to see a sentimental side of him when, again, he's sarcastic a lot of the time.
Totally. Whatever works for them. I could totally see her proposing to him too. I can see that, like that, the whole thing happening for them. Cause I feel like
I just worry that like that's going to happen. And then like, it's not really going to be what they want. But again, like what do we know? I don't know. Like they're still together. There's a bunch, we just talked about so many breakups. And if you would have told me Kaylin and Dean, every day they make it, I'm shocked. So I literally I don't know the ins and outs of their relationship, but when he is a podcaster who talks about her all the time, sometimes you hear it and you're just like, in what world are you like okay with some of these remarks? I don't know, but I think he's just like
not tuned in.
I don't know. It must not bother her. I don't know.
I guess not. Well, that was an exhausting episode this week. There was so much news to get to. Keep commenting, keep subscribing. Sarah, who's
tell us which breakup surprised you the most. That's what I want people to tell us.
Love to know that. Sarah, who's on the podcast this week?
I should be catching up with Jesse Palmer to finally find out how this season of The Bachelorette is going to work. So stay tuned.
Love that. Love that. All right. Like I said, keep commenting, keep subscribing, and we will see you guys next week. Just a few more weeks to go until The Bachelorette is here.
Yay.
Bye. Hey everyone, I'm Christina Garibaldi, the host of Us Weekly Celebrity Coverage. Don't forget to hit subscribe for the latest celebrity news, tips, and video. And for much more content, make sure you head on over to usmagazine.com, the official home of Us Weekly magazine.